I don't know if it was like the first or the second season that I read somewhere that it costs like 200 million to make Arcane, and I see why. This animation is pretty insane. Well, I'm already insanely emotionally invested. It's kind of crazy when you think about the fact that like what good writing and a good writers can do. Because when you look at it objectively, these are just like lead character, like these are just characters for a video game that they added lore to. You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that like I'm already like, oh, okay, I want nothing bad to happen to them little girls ever again, or I will burn the world down. It already makes, just good writing. If they spent millions on the animation, how much did they spend on Imagine Dragons? God damn.
One day, I'm gonna ride in one of those things.
Not a good idea. They tend to explode from. I don't remember how people reacted when Arcane first came out, but I'm curious why no one said this was woke when it came out. Like, I don't remember anyone saying that it was, because a group of orphan children, one, is already political, but two, a bunch of orphan children stealing from the rich is insanely political. And Violet is kind of queer coded. Like, she looks like she could be bi. She's with people in like 2013 would call like what like they thought like SJWs look like. So like why I'm always like, I guess it is inherently sort of like proof that like what is woke is incredibly arbitrary and it's just like whatever we don't like or what has black people in it. Maybe jail ain't so bad. Maybe jail ain't that bad, because I'll be damned. This ain't Shawshank Redemption. I'm not waiting through shit. Just those like 3 frames probably cost like $400,000. Jesus Christ, just look at that. Oh my god. He reminds me a lot of like Junkrat from Overwatch. I mean, if you're gonna pull out a knife and then call out that you have a knife, how else did you expect that to end? In Milo's defense, if I got my ass whooped and I didn't even get what I came here for, you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't get the thing I got my ass whooped for, I'd also be mad. Just, in Milo's defense. But also, it's crazy that, like, see, I thought that, like, the part that they were fighting in was where they live. No, they live underground. And my big thing is that obviously you're getting, like, notes of, like, class dynamics, and that's my shit. Fucking love that. I'm all for that. I love when shit is woke, you know what I mean, where they talk about like poverty, like abject poverty, the things people will go through will go through to do what they have to do to survive, people trying to survive, and just like class disparity. But the big thing I often hate, I won't say hate, that's a strong word. The thing I often don't like is that like you will see like big corporations, and I think this is happening more and more, where like big corporations will talk about like class and capitalism and stuff like that, and like but only on like a surface level, nothing that actually like looks at the system objectively. It's more so like these big corporations, because for example, in like I think it was like the Harley Quinn show, in the first episode, the Joker calls like a bunch of people like dirty capitalists or some shit like that, something along those lines. And it caught me off guard when I originally saw that, because I was like, huh? Like, am I watching? This is a HBO show using the IP of DC Comics, talking about capitalism as like a bad thing. And the reason that like I don't like it necessarily is because of like these shows, even though like they will talk about it, it will always be through the lens of like, well, that's just kind of life. Like, well, but like, does it have to be? And it reminds me of this quote of, what is it? People can imagine the end of the world before they can imagine the end of capitalism. And people's commentary I see very often when it comes to like class disparity and shows, it's always like, yeah, like things are so bad for these people, but it could be worse or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But like, It's just that, like, I guess it just gives you just enough to relate to the characters, or like the average person to relate to the characters, but doesn't do anything beyond that, because then it would have to, like, the system would have to look in on itself in a way. Talk a little bit more about what I was just saying. When these big corporations allow sort of like, I guess, the most minimal amount of like class critique, it's always through this lens of like, well, these people are poor, or like these people are rich. Like, it's just fate. Like, it's not necessarily like all these people are bad or they did something bad to be rich and these people did something. Like, it's just, well, that's just the circumstances. Here's how these people survive despite of those circumstances. And sure, like, it just gives you just enough to relate to these characters, but does nothing in way of like actually going like, this is like, the people being this rich is bad, or people being this poor is bad. Like, why can't we be more equal? It's just kind of like, oh well, them's the rocks.
This is vile.
I'll also smoke a little crack with new friends I make.
Welcome to the.
We're gonna be fine, right?
Foreshadowing.
Didn't mean to.
Powder's my problem.
I mean, if I get punched in the face and don't even get paid, I'm kind of on my little side on this one. Maybe don't bring an incompetent little girl if you're just going to use the excuse that she's an incompetent little girl then.
I used to come out here at night and stare at it.
Well, fuck, that just made me sad. It's a freaky looking dude, a freaky looking cat. Okay, now I feel bad for the cat. Oh. Now I feel really bad for the cat. I don't know why I found that funny. Dude just kind of walked up to a child crying out for help and was like, look at this cool thing I could do. Sick, right? Alright, see you later. Hope your mom doesn't die. Oh, never mind, he helps. Would have been way funnier if he didn't. Magic, bitch, I ain't gotta explain shit.
How am I dangerous?
How am I dangerous? The guy who had a bunch of bombs in his house? I'm a normal dude.
Imprisonment. What a curious principle.
That was the most fake deep ass. Oh, if we put your body in one place and confine you, but your brain, you can still think. Whoa. I'm 14 and that's deep. Like, yeah, of course. What? But also, like, solitary confinement is a thing and makes people go insane. So, like, confinement affects the body. The mind and body are kind of connected that way.
Maybe just don't take powder next time.
Okay, alright, now you're just being mean to a child. Like, I was on your side for a while. Ew. I was just about to say that these cops aren't as violent and bloodthirsty, it seems, as like normal cops. And then that. I don't know if I'm happy to be wrong. Also, their suits remind me of the ones from Genro.
Yeah, let's teach them what it means to mess with us.
Yeah, peasant uprising.
They're just protecting your kids.
Bro said that like that's a bad thing. Oh, you're just being a good parent. Oh, you just don't want your children to die. Sorry? Also, this was so over dramatic. They had to close the blinds. God can't see this trial.
My own family won't help me. I'll find someone who will.
I wonder why he's so obsessed with magic. Like, yes, it saved his mother's life, but like, actually, if something saves a loved one's life of mine, I would be pretty obsessed. Also, how cliche is it to have a secret lair at the bottom of the ocean? That pee has some force behind it. You see the little spittle that came out? Power. That's it, bro. That's all it took. It took a minute and like 20-second speech from a bad guy for you to be like, yeah, I'll take those drugs, sure. Like, that's all the convincing you need. I'm going to chew through my keyboard if I don't see that dude get punched in the face. I don't know his name. His name isn't worth remembering. The enforcer who is like going around his superior because obviously he wants a promotion or whatever. It's always a weird manlet dude with something to prove. I feel like they're foreshadowing like this big division between Vander and Violet, obviously, and like the rest of like she might join that lady who called Vander weak, and it's a like it's going to be this big catalyst and then Vander's going to die. Like I'm sensing that's what's going to happen. Do a flip. No, actually, please don't do that. That would be quite sad. Your mother would miss you very dearly. Actually, I don't think that fall would even kill him. You can't just end it right there. Damn, that was a good fucking song and a good way to end the show. Shit. I'm really fucking with this show. I see why it's like so hyped, honestly. Like there's really good writing. I kind of wish like I mean maybe they will in like later episodes, because like obviously Powder grows up to become Jinx or whatever and blah blah blah, and you know obviously they all become adults, so like there's like this big catalyst that has to come. But I am super curious, well, one, what that catalyst is going to be. Maybe like Vi goes to jail or something like that, or Vander dies or something, you know what I mean? The gang breaks up. I want them to like really delve more into like Vi's justifiable anger at the fact that like, because as a poor, you don't feel human sometimes because just how bad it feels to not be able to do even the most mundane and basic of things. Like you don't feel like, if it feels dehumanizing to just exist. And I often just, not to get dark, but wish I didn't exist just so I didn't have to be poor. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm better off dead just because I hate being that poor. You know what I mean? Because I don't care about money. I just want some like stability in my life. So like I understand Vi's like just genuine anger. Because sometimes I'll see like people who are like just insanely rich, people who were just born lucky, and think the things I would do just to be in that position, to have even a fraction of like the comfort they feel, because there's just discomfort and frustration and anger. There's this quote by James Baldwin. I'm going to butcher it, but like basically it's expensive to be poor. Everything costs money. There's always something that needs to be taken care of. There's never a day or time period of like reprieve where you don't have to worry about something breaking, how you're going to afford that, how you're going to afford this. You know what I mean? Like what, like an emergency or whatever. It is just frustrating, I guess, you know, because I'm no wordsmith. But Vi's anger, everyone at I forget what the area at the bottom is called, but like everyone's anger is justifiable. Like even if it was just like them being poor, but on top of them being poor and like destitute and like being at the bottom of society, essentially, they're also beaten, bloodied, and badgered and made to feel inadequate by the system and like the police. You know what I mean? Like this sort of armed force that like enforces like these fucked up rules of like keeping everyone subjugated. You know what I mean? The police only work in favor of like capital and capital owners. So, you know what I mean?